Good fight, intriguing fight. I mean, look, Devin is a brilliant fighter. I think Devin, in his pomp, in his prime, full of confidence, beats Brian Norman. For me, it's just the Ramirez performance. Is the confidence back? I think 147 will really suit him. But it's his first fight up there, is it? Or did he fight Ramirez at 140 or 147? 140 catchweight, I think, yeah. So, yeah, and Brian Norman, how good is Brian Norman? I think, sometimes we talk about the power of Brian Norman. Who has he really beaten? He's definitely a decent fighter, but I think it's a good fight. I think Devin wins. I think he wins on points, but I'm sure it won't be without its drama.
I'm going to be tuned into that as well. I feel like it's going to be an exciting fight. They both have great styles, and it's going to be a good style matchup. And it's about who has as always, about who has the better preparation.
I have Hall of Fame power. I have legendary power. I got something that Ernest Shavers used to have. So you can probably take a punch from the other guys, but not this one. I could definitely say if he's think about the outside too much, it will cloud his mind, it will cloud his judgment. He won't be Devin Haney because he's more so trying to prove y'all wrong. You sit here and try to prove us wrong and take a shot from beating on the storm, and you gonna see it's a little bit too much over here. I mean, you see the fitted. I mean, it's like that. November 22nd, I'll see y'all there. And you best believe, beating on the storm is about to transform. November 22nd is go time.
I think it's going to be a great fight, but I think Devin Haney, he has too much experience. He's fought a lot of great fighters, and that experience factor is definitely going to work in his favor. But, he can't sleep on Brian Norman. Brian Norman is a great fighter with a lot of punching power, but, I see Devin Haney winning that fight.
It's a great, fantastic fight, two fantastic fighters. Brian Norman is a great puncher, very, very physically strong, carry power in both hands. Haney's very, very skilled. He knows how to win. There's some very good wins on his resume. So it's a fantastic fight. It's a fight potentially that I could fight one of the winners down the line. But look, my main goal now is Paro. It's a fantastic fight. We deal with Paro. We get on to the IBF. We get that championship that I deserve, and then we're ready for the big fights again.
It's a dangerous fight for Devin Haney. I would have Brian Norman as a favourite, if I'm being honest. I think that, just going off our last couple of performances, I haven't been overly impressed by Devin Haney. But he's an amazing fighter, really, really good fighter. And if he can get some of his old form back, then of course he has a chance. But for me, just at this stage, I would say Brian Norman is the favourite, and deservedly so.
Oh, it's definitely a dangerous fight. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You got to respect Haney, though, because he is, of all the group of guys that we could talk about at the top in and around that weight class, he's the guy that's been fighting all the best guys on a consistent basis. Right? He's the guy that went twice to Australia on the road when Kambosos was still considered dangerous. He's the guy that fought Ryan Garcia. He fought Vasily Lomachenko. He has fought, a lot of good opponents during his career when other guys have shied away. He was ready, willing, and able to fight, all kinds of guys. Whether it was Teofimo Lopez, he was ready to do that matchup, and it didn't happen, but not because of his side of things. So he takes on Brian Norman, who kind of, I don't want to say came out of nowhere. Those of us that followed closely knew he was a good prospect, but he got the belt. He looked great when he went to Japan. And now he comes in really formidable. I mean, he's a very talented guy. He's got good power, as you mentioned. He's the natural welterweight from the standpoint that he's been fighting that weight class, whereas Haney is still relatively new in that division. So I think even though Haney may have the bigger name, I haven't looked at the odds. I would imagine that Norman is probably the favorite. But that's a very interesting fight. I mean, it's such a good card that's on that you kind of forget about that fight because you think, okay, there's the main event with Benavidez against Yard, so the main event always takes up a lot of the attention and the energy. And then I think about the other fights on the show. And for me, I'm super interested in the undercard fight that features Jesse Bam Rodriguez in the 3-belt unification at junior bantamweight against Fernando Puma Martinez. And then you're like, oh yeah, we got Devin Haney is in a big time fight challenging for the welterweight belt against Brian Norman. So really good fight. Haney's got the balls and he's got the skills. He's willing to step in there with anybody. His track record shows that. He's got good boxing ability, good IQ. Norman, a little younger, a little fresher, a good punching power, very confident, good matchup. I mean, but I guess it makes sense that Norman should be the favorite.
Obviously, Brian Norman is looking pretty good right now, right? Strong, good boxer, seems to be pretty well-rounded. I don't know. Devin Haney, the last couple of fights have been a little bit maybe not his best. So if you go off his last couple of fights, then I think if you're betting money, you want to put it on Brian Norman, but you never know. Like, I never like to count people out. We're always growing and adjusting and making changes in this sport. So as long as he's, honest with himself and what he needs to do, then, we could see the Devin Haney we saw against Loma or something like that. You never really know. But again, if I had to bet money on it right now, I'd probably put it on Brian Norman.
He gonna do whatever he gonna do. I'm gonna do whatever I'm gonna do in the fight. It don't matter. Whatever I feel, whatever he feel, we gonna fight at the end of the day. 140 was super hard for me to make. I felt depleted when I went in for the Ryan fight. But I did come into camp pretty heavy that fight. Not making no excuses or nothing as far as that. But I didn't feel myself at 140. I didn't feel as good as I felt in the Regis fight at 140. And when I just fought at 144, I felt super good. And I think at 147, I'm feel even better. Even better version. When I first went up to 140, you guys saw a much better version than I was at 135. And I think it's going to be the same at 147.
That's a great fight, man. I'm really looking forward to that one, to be honest with you. I'm Devin Haney. I'm Team Devin Haney, right? So I wish him well. He's fast, he's explosive, he's very technical. So he has everything to defeat Brian Norman. Then again, Brian Norman is a young star in the making, right? If he's able to win this fight against Devin Haney, he's really going to make a mark in the boxing game, and people are going to take him serious. Not that they don't, because he is a world champion and well-deserved world champion, but I do believe that this fight will prove to everyone that he's top two in the welterweight division. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tactical fight on both sides. It's dangerous for Devin Haney because he's jumping up in weight again to welterweight division. And I think it's going to be, it's not going to be easy. He needs to fight a perfect fight. Make sure that he doesn't get caught with anything strong, anything too heavy or too loaded up from Brian Norman. But, we'll see soon enough. I think the dangerous fight right now, the more danger for either fighter is going to be more for Haney because Norman possesses the power, right? But then again, Haney possesses that high ring IQ, that high velocity, explosive, and speed. So it's going to be interesting.
Here we go again with weight classes, right? Brian Norman being the bigger fighter of the two. I believe he has the advantage. I don't take anything away from Devin Haney. Devin Haney is a great boxer, but he's not a power boxer, if you will. You know what I mean? He's more of a technical, good ring boxer. But I just think Brian Norman, he's definitely the best welterweight in the world right now. He's the man to beat. And for Devin Haney to move up in weight and fight Brian Norman, I believe he's going to have his hands full. You win your fights in the gym. You got to have the proper sparring partners to be able to get yourself mentally and physically ready for a fighter like Norman. He's, like I said, again, I don't take anything away from Devin Haney. He's a great boxer. But can he carry, I can't sit here and tell, can he carry power? Because he doesn't have a whole lot of knockouts himself at 135, now moving up to 147. I just don't think he'll be able to hurt Brian Norman. He's going to have to go out there and try to outbox him. But Brian Norman's a pretty good boxer himself, and I'm sure he's going to find a way to cut off the ring and get to Devin Haney. It's going to be a good fight, but I would have to give the advantage to Brian Norman.
I think Brian Norman is the best fight for Devin Haney because he either has to get over that mindset of his previous fight or the one before, and overcome that heel and overcome that little monster in his mind. But it takes a fighter like Brian Norman, who's powerful, who's strong, who also has skills. Now, a lot of the guys that stays in front of him got taken out. Haney is going to be smart enough to not get hit, right? So that goes to a point that this is a breakthrough for Haney to make him go beyond what he's already accomplished. If or when he gets past Norman. And then Norman, of course, is the same thing with him. If he gets past Haney, then he is the man to be, right? So these two fights, for these two fighters, this fight is the most crucial fight for their career.
Yeah, it's a good fight for the division. I'm excited. I've seen a lot of stuff back and forth online. I'd probably side with Devin Haney for the fight, and I'll be keeping an eye on it.
Well, everything would usually point towards Haney for the level he's been at for so long, but you know, a lot of people are rating Brian Norman. I'd be lying if I said I'd seen all too much of him, but you know, a lot of people are predicting a Norman knockout, so I'm not too sure, if I'm honest. I'll go with Haney just because of consistency over a career period and the level that he's been at, but you know, his last outing against Ramirez, it wasn't the best. He looked very gun-shy, boxed very safe, and you can do that against certain fighters, but some fighters you need to have their respect, and if you don't get Normans, then it could be a very hard night for him.